Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for interrupting my husband's time with his family so he would have a bath with our son? My son is 2 and bath time is always interesting. Some days he absolutely loves having a bath. Some days he decides the water is scary and he'll cry and try to get out the entire time. We figured out that if he's scared to have a bath and me or my husband go in the bath with him, he's usually fine. The only issue with that is he has a different preference on who he wants to have a bath with every time. And it only works if it's the parent he wants. We were on vacation with my in-laws and I was going to give my son a bath, but he started crying and saying he wanted his dad to go in with him. Since my husband was speaking with some of his family, I tried to persuade our son the bath wasn't scary and to have a bath with me, but he was just getting increasingly upset. I ended up interrupting them and asking my husband to have a bath with our son, which he did. My brother-in-law and cousin-in-law were upset because apparently they were having an important conversation before I interrupted, and I could just put our son to bed without a bath. We ended up arguing because I said I wouldn't put him to sleep dirty and that their conversation obviously wasn't that important. Am I the antagonist? Stop supporting his actions. Don't enter the tub with him when you are giving him a bath. Alternately, put him to bed without bathing. You had simple choices, but you chose to ignore your spouse and his family because you did not care what they were doing. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. Your son is 2. It's not hard to scrub him off real quick if he's wanting to do it or not. I've had 3 boys. Sometimes they don't want a bath. I never needed to get in with them. I don't think you're the a-hole for interrupting a conversation, though being so dismissive was a little Charlie. But giving in to your toddler's every demand is not a good precedent. Just give him the bath. He'll be fine. So I'm going to say you're the a-hole. Agreed. I suspect the child isn't afraid of having a bath, but notice, it's only sometimes. As much as he's figured out, if he pitches a fit he can get whichever parent to join him. It's fairly normal for toddlers to try to gain control over the world and people around them in this way, but allowing them to do it in this way will cause havoc for parents and caregivers. As for the conversation, if you weren't privy to it, how do you know if it was important? Soft, you're the a-hole, because telling someone else their conversation isn't important is rude. I encourage you to take a parent effectiveness training class. There are some decisions 2-year-olds don't get to make, even if they throw a tantrum. She keeps insisting it's fear, but it seems he's afraid only sometimes. This tells me that toddler has figured out how to make mom and dad jump through hoops. Am I the antagonist for defending my fiance when my sister yelled at her for wearing perfume around her infant baby? My sister has an attitude that everyone should cater to her the entire time. She doesn't know what boundaries mean and just ignores any complaint we'll make regarding her behavior. Whenever she visits me and my fiance or our parents, she'll just dump her kids to everyone else and sit around with no responsibility. One time she was mad that my fiance couldn't babysit for her kids because my sister wanted to go to a bachelorette party, but it was also my fiance's birthday, so she of course didn't want to stay inside watching someone else's kids on her day. Now my sister gave birth to another baby. The baby is 5 months old. On Saturday we had to attend my cousin's wedding. My fiance wore her usual perfume. On the reception my sister tried to dump the baby on my fiance again, but she didn't do so because she smelled my fiance's perfume. She then got mad that my fiance wore perfume and said something like, "You knew you'd be around the baby and you're wearing a heavy perfume like that." My fiance told her it's a wedding. She's allowed to wear perfume. She then noticed my fiance also has a body glitter lotion on and my sister got even more mad. She called my fiance insensitive for wearing perfume and body glitter knowing she'd have to interact with the baby at some point. I told my sister that maybe she should stop trying to dump her kids onto other people. In this case my fiance, and if other people's scents and lotions bother her so much she should care for her own kids for once. My parents called me insensitive for saying that to my sister and how being a mom is not easy, and I was really hard on her. They also said I'm tough for defending my fiance like that, just for wearing perfume and lotion, and how it's not that difficult to skip perfume and lotion, so you can help someone else when they need to, and they called us disrespectful to my sister's needs and the baby. No lotion or cologne for a baby, for a child. Not even her child, is it? Why would she be upset over a child who is not her own? However, your family needs assistance. Neither you nor your fiance are in charge of them. Comment by team member Shannon. Now for the top comments. NTA. Looks like the perfume and glitter are an effective mucus repellent. I'd take a shower with it and show up to any event where she has to be in. NTA. And now everyone knows to slather on the lotions and perfumes to get out of the forced babysitting. We'll just stock on perfumes at this point. NTA. It was a wedding, and your fiance isn't your sister's default babysitter, especially at an event. To that end, remind your parents of that simple fact. She's your fiance and you will always defend her when people are being rude to her. Your sister's needs regarding care for her children is 100% on her, not on you or your fiance. The fact that your parents feel differently is disrespectful of them. Am I the antagonist for changing my Wi-Fi password? So this is a situation between me, late 20s SF, and my neighbors, family of 5. The 3 kids are 14 years of age and the parents are in their mid 30s. I live in a very average neighborhood for the area, not affluent by many means, but not terrible either. It's in the UK and anyone in the UK and specifically Northern England will know what I'm talking about. All of the houses on the street are packed next to another in a row without any gap in between. And this is a standard, unless you're pretty loaded. Recently, the family next door has really fallen on hard times. The woman, let's call her Kate, lost her job recently due to worsening arthritis and the disability payment she gets is a fraction of her old salary. The man, let's call him Dave, seems to work constantly, but despite this, she has expressed a lot of money concerns to me. We aren't close, but neighborly in chat, and my niece who lives down the road is good friends with her son. Anyway, 2 days ago she texted me frantically at 8 in the morning saying her Wi-Fi payment had not gone through, and that she's really hoping she can borrow my password for just a few days. I thought nothing of it and sent her a pic of the router. What I didn't expect is for her kids to each connect every single device they own to the Wi-Fi, slowing down my net speed, which is purchased for the use of me and my husband, down to the point of not being able to stream Netflix. I changed the password and didn't say anything this morning because she's had long enough to fix any payment issue and I had done my neighborly duty. This morning she texted again and I just ignored it as I had never said she can use it for so many devices anyway, and I feel like the agreement was taken advantage of. Am I the antagonist? Your Wi-Fi service is something you pay for. It's unfortunate that their family is struggling, but taking advantage of your compassion by connecting all of their devices is just disrespectful. If you don't change your password, they'll keep stealing from you, and you won't get the benefits of the services you paid for. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. NTA. She asked for a few days. You gave her a few days. Unless she misrepresented the situation, she should been able to fix the issue by now, as you said. Op gave 1 day. Kate asked 2 days ago. Op changed it yesterday. That's not a few days. NTA. But I'm also going to use this as a sap. Never let your neighbors use your Wi-Fi. If they were to do anything illegal on your network, it becomes your problem really fast. You can set up a guest password on most routers and put limits on it. NTA. But instead of ignoring her, I would tell her what happened and why you can't share anymore. If it was just her device, it wouldn't have been an issue. Am I the antagonist for blaming my dad's death on his friends at his funeral? I, 18F, recently lost my dad in a motorbike accident. The official cause of accident is still being looked into, but it's pretty clear that my dad was at fault also, so lucky no one else was hurt. It's always been just me and my dad and his large group of friends who are pretty much my uncles. Dad broke his leg 4 months ago and was told if he rested and did plenty of rehab he'd be able to ride again in 6-8 months. Dad did hardly any rehab unless I was on his back about it. just lay around feeling sorry for himself, and my uncles coming to visit all the time. 2 weeks ago they were all going for a ride and convinced my dad to go with them. I told him not to go, but he didn't listen, and he never made it home. From what I have been told, it looked like he lost power his leg and lost his balance and skidded into traffic. When I got up to speak at his funeral, my anger got the better of me, and I said something like that if they hadn't convinced dad to go we wouldn't be here, and I hold them responsible for his death. I know that my father was an adult and he was responsible for his own actions that lead to his death, but at the same time they were just as bad with convincing my dad to go with them. Afterwards no one spoke to me, but in the last week I've had just about everyone calling and texting telling me how much of a bitch I'm. So am I the NTA. I'm going to say they shouldn't have persuaded him to do this or let him to. He may be a grown man, but his melancholy behavior and refusal to go rehab make it evident that something else was going on, and they either chose to ignore it or didn't give a damn. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. I think the assholes here are the people who are haranguing a grieving teenager via phone. NTA. I don't think you were correct about them being ultimately responsible, but I don't think you were 100% wrong either. It was ultimately your father's choice, but they did play a part in what happened. In any case, unlike the people who have been calling you up, I think you deserve allowances for needlessly losing a parent. Out of box thinking. I love your response. I was leaning towards the justified reply, and you summed it up well. NTA. My condolences opus. One day they or you may try and sit down to talk about the events that caused it, but your emotions and feelings are not to be invalidated, as they knew, like your dad, that it wasn't safe. Even if there was cam footage of the accident showing them all doing stupid things, or just normal safe riding, they were all aware that he wasn't supposed to go. NTA. Ultimately your dad was a responsible party for his accident, but his friends hold some responsibility for peer pressuring him into riding that day, so they deserve a little reality check that actions and manipulations can have consequences, and they don't get out of this free of blame. I'm sorry for your loss. Am I the antagonist for uninviting my gay brother and his boyfriend to my wedding? I, 36 male, am getting married to my wife, 34F. Everything was going great, and we were giving out invitations. When I gave one to my brother, Sam, he asked if he could bring his, 22 male, boyfriend to the wedding. I was immediately super fond of the idea as Jack, his BF, and I are both fairly close. About a week after Sam sent a picture of what he was going to be wearing to the wedding in the wedding group chat. It was a rainbow tuxedo. Initially I thought he was joking, so I said LMAO. He was very hurt and told me to go fuck myself. He has always been quite feminine in his clothing choices, which I'm completely okay with, but me and my soon-to-be wife both thought that what he wanted to wear was inappropriate and would take the attention away from my wife and me. So I told him that him and his boyfriend were both uninvited from our wedding. He told me that the only reason that I didn't want him there was because I was homophobic. I'm very much not homophobic. I go to pride marches and have never had any problem with him being gay. Most of our family agrees with my decision, but some are refusing to come to the wedding now. So am I the antagonist? Edit. Some things I forgot to include in the original post are, yes, I did explain to him why this made us uncomfortable, but he kept pulling the just being homophobic card on my and me soon to be wife. Also on the invitation was a dress code saying black and white only. How could he possibly think that's acceptable? That is not proper here and would be totally inappropriate. Dress codes are understood by my queer ass. You weren't at all homophobic. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. NTA. I'm a gay man and know that if I was going to a wedding, that is neither the time or place to flame on and dress like Elton John. A masquerade ball, yes. Halloween at the bar, yes. But at a wedding, where the dress code is clearly marked down, absolutely no. It is a wedding, not a pride festival, and does not show up to make a statement, to take away any sort of attention from the bride and groom. This is not homophobia. This is simple manners. And your brother is a double asshole. One for trying this BS, and the other is for playing the homophobic card just cause he is not getting his way and was uninvited. NTA. I would feel the same. Did you explain this to them? Yes, but unfortunately he didn't listen. NTA. A rainbow tuxedo? Seriously? Yes. That would take attention away from the bride and you. He is pulling the gay card in order to strong arm you into letting him wear that to the wedding. As to the people who are refusing to come to the wedding now, send them a picture of the rainbow tuxedo and then see what they have to say. However, did you give him the option of still coming to the wedding, but not wearing that tuxedo? Am I the antagonist for telling my boyfriend to earn more money? My boyfriend, Peter, and I have been together for a little over 2 years. We live in a 1-bedroom apartment I own. It's in an old Soviet panel building that has been renovated and looks very nice in my opinion. It's also at a great location. We are surrounded by trees and the metro is only a 5 minutes walk away. Peter has been complaining about my apartment ever since he moved in. He doesn't like that it's a panel apartment. He wants to live in a proper building. Since I got promoted at work a few months ago, he has been talking about wanting to move even more. He wants me to sell my apartment and buy a better one with him. I told him that I don't want to buy an apartment together with a boyfriend. That's something I would only do after marriage. But if he bought an apartment for himself, I would move in with him and rent out my apartment. If that's really what he wants. He told me that he doesn't have enough money for an apartment alone, and since I earn 1.5 times as much as he does, it would be really unfair of me to just live in his future apartment for free and also have renter income from my own apartment. I told him that then he should go and earn more money. He got really offended at this, said that I should never insult a man like that, and he was been giving me the cold shoulder for days. When I asked my brother's advice on this, he told me that he agrees with me on the apartment issue, but I shouldn't have told him to go and earn more money. That's deeply insulting for a man and equals to me saying he is not man enough. I don't know. Am I the antagonist? Edit for info. He doesn't pay rent, but he is contributing to the bills. He pays the internet and half the heating, which is about 30 a month. Your partner needs to mature if protecting his manhood is that essential to him. He shouldn't have tried to use you for his financial gain. Do not be manipulated into supporting someone else's lifestyle. Comment by team member Alex. Now for the top comments. So, you're almost fully financing his living situation, and he's complaining about wanting more. Girl, maybe he should be your ex-boyfriend, not the a-hole. NTA, and make him start paying rent. I was going to say, because he obviously expects the same from you. But actually I believe you should be charging him rent anyway. So, he isn't paying for your apartment and it's okay, but if you want to come to his apartment without paying, it's unfair. Did I understand well? Yes. Yes you fucking did. The audacity that some people have. Where the fuck do they sell it?